The Boston Celtics maintained their dominance throughout the season, effortlessly advancing through the playoffs, and then doing the same in Game 1 of the NBA Finals. With an impressive record of 77 wins out of 97 games since October, Boston showcased their strength and followed their proven formula of consistent shooting, strong defense, and contributions from a deep bench. In Game 1, the Celtics didn't even have to rely on a Jason Tatum dominant performance. Despite Tatum's relatively modest 16 points, the team still excelled, showcasing their depth and versatility. A standout moment came when the Celtics blocked 5 dunk or layup attempts, frustrating Dallas and preventing them from closing the gap in the game. Although Dallas managed to reduce Boston's lead at one point, the Celtics responded with a 14-0 run that essentially sealed the game. Looking ahead, the Mavericks are aware that they cannot expect Tatum to have a subdued presence throughout the series, but a Game 1 setback is just the start of the NBA Finals. Now, for the Mavs, Luka Doncic was limited to scoring in basically one way throughout the whole game. Against Luka, the Celtics chose to defend him one-on-one for the most part, challenging his teammates to make difficult shots. This approach is made possible because of the depth of the Celtics roster, a roster that includes skilled defenders like Jrue Holiday, Derek White, and Jaylen Brown, all of whom took turns guarding Doncic in Game 1. By luring Luka into taking 26 shots, the Celtics limited him from being a playmaker, as evidenced by his unusually low assist count being just 1 assist for the whole game. This lack of ball movement affected the Mavericks' offense, leading to a scarcity of open three-point opportunities. Consequently, Dallas struggled from beyond the arc, shooting 7 for 27, and posted their lowest point total of the postseason. For the Celtics, they continue to heavily rely on three-pointers as a key part of their offensive strategy. Boston's willingness to take deep shots can be both impressive and frustrating, often within the same game, quarter, or even possession. In Game 1, they even missed 5 consecutive three-point attempts on a single possession, yet their commitment to the long-range shot remained steadfast. Throughout the playoffs, the team averaged 40 three-point attempts per game, and exceeded that mark by 2 in Game 1 of the Finals. This persistent emphasis on three-point shooting presents a challenge that the Mavericks need to address moving forward. The Celtics consistently look to capitalize on their shooting prowess, as demonstrated by their 16 made three-pointers in Game 1. This success from beyond the arc puts significant pressure on the defense, leading to necessary adjustments and risky defensive decisions in real time. With Boston boasting multiple capable shooters, the Mavericks must find a way to contain their perimeter threat to avoid a repeat of Game 1 for the rest of the series. The Mavericks are also in need of a stronger contribution from Kyrie Irving. The backdrop of playing against his former team, coupled with the boos directed at him each time he touched the ball, should be motivation enough. But if the Mavs are going to be competitive, Kyrie Irving simply needs to be better. He only scored 12 points and missed all 5 of his three-point attempts, failing to ignite a significant response from the Celtics. Facing primarily single coverage from the Celtics, similar to Doncic, Irving struggled to make an impact, recording only 2 assists and facing difficulties finishing plays when he managed to evade his defender. His tough night was exemplified by a remarkable block from Jaylen Brown, who showcased Boston's strong defensive capabilities. Irving's ongoing struggles against the Celtics continued, with his record now standing at 0-11 in his last 11 games against Boston. Now, both Luka and Kyrie face similar coverages and struggles in Game 1, and both need to be more impactful for the Mavericks to present a greater challenge to Boston. Let's take a closer look. This play in the second quarter represents a struggle the two faced in Game 1. Kyrie Irving receives a screen from Maxi Kleber at the top of the key. He gets the switch he wants and drives left against Boston's Sam Hauser, but fails to create any space. He gets trapped in the corner and ultimately takes a wild three-pointer that hits the side of the backboard. Now, if you've watched Kyrie play basketball, you know that this is a shot he can and will make, contested or not, but the failure to capitalize in this game was a reoccurring theme for the Mavs. But this failure was significant for multiple reasons. First, it was shockingly the Mavericks' only corner three-pointer in the first 39 minutes of the game. Second, it symbolized Dallas' ongoing inability to force Boston into committing an extra defender to the ball. Boston effectively turned the Mavericks into a one-on-one team, defending Dallas's 2 stars so efficiently that the role players never became a factor. Boston's dominance was so pronounced that the Mavericks recorded 0 assists in the whole third quarter, and even though it was their strongest quarter, there's cause for concern. While they briefly cut a 21-point halftime deficit to just 8 points in the third, the lack of ball movement by Dallas led Boston to launch a 14-0 run to regain the large lead. By the end of that run and the end of 3 quarters, the story wasn't just that Dallas trailed by 22 points, but they had managed a mere 5 assists. They finished the game with 9 assists, the fewest in an NBA Finals game since Cleveland recorded the same number in Game 1 of the 2007 Finals, a Finals in which they got swept. Even this total was padded with inconsequential assists in garbage time. Even worse, the 2 Mavericks tasked with facilitating play, Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic, combined for 0 assists after halftime, finishing with 2 and 1 respectively. Luka's total was particularly notable, as he had recorded at least 2 assists in each of the last 240 regular season and playoff games when he played at least 10 minutes. In fact, the only second-half assist from a Dallas starter came from forward PJ Washington, who provided 2 drive and dish plays in the fourth quarter. And in the broader context, Dallas led the league in corner 3-point attempts during both the regular season and the first 3 rounds of the playoffs, and dismantled Minnesota in the conference finals with those plays. Boston neutralized both these weapons with remarkable effectiveness, and they did it at minimal cost. It didn't require complex defensive schemes, just one-on-one, high-effort defense. The absence of those shots signaled major trouble for the Mavericks offense that managed just 75 points on the 84 possessions during the competitive portion of the game. Repeatedly, the Mavericks ended up in one-on-one situations against Boston defenders, as the Celtics switched on every screen except those involving Kristaps Porzingis. Typically, Dallas wins these matchups, forcing opponents to double-team Doncic and Irving, thus opening space for other players. However, Boston never felt compelled to double-team, which kept the court closed off for the Mavericks. Dallas tested all of Boston's defenders, including Sam Hauser in the earlier mentioned clip, and in 2 isolations against Doncic. Even Al Horford had stepped up in ISO situations. He shaded Luka to prevent his step back going left, and then blocked his shot on the step back going right. Kristaps Porzingis played great defensively. He obviously protected the rim well, but he also wasn't exploited on the switch. And it wasn't just because the Mavericks struggled when they challenged him. They often couldn't even reach him because Boston excelled at pre-switching Dallas's actions. As for the standard matchups, they were just as effective. Oftentimes, the ball screen would just move the on-ball defender from Drew Holiday to Derek White or Jaylen Brown. Not really the mismatch Dallas is used to hunting. With Luka and Kyrie unable to generate the necessary advantages to kickstart Dallas's lob game, the Mavericks' supporting cast faded into obscurity. By the time the bench players took over, the role players had only managed to score 33 points collectively, with PJ Washington contributing 14 of them. Now, the question is, can the Mavericks make the adjustments for Game 2? Although the Mavericks found a bit more rhythm in the second half, they still faced an uphill battle, with Luka having to labor for one-on-one scores on almost every trip down the court. When White intercepted the ball and sprinted for a layup in the fourth quarter, pushing Boston's lead to 21, Luka looked visibly exhausted, not even attempting to pursue the play. Doncic ended the game with 30 points, but it was an empty achievement. Despite his scoring, the Celtics remained at ease and never needed to adjust their strategy. Naturally, Luka can perform even better. And oddly, he passed up several open shots, seemingly anticipating that Boston would converge on him, like Minnesota's defense did in the previous matchup. And when he did go on the offensive, it was an uphill battle. Take this incredible shot over 4 defenders, for example. While impressive, it's not a viable strategy for consistently generating offense throughout the game. Now, that being said, this series is far from over. The Dallas Mavericks have faced a 0-1 series deficit twice on their journey to the NBA Finals, with 6 occurrences in the 7 series under the leadership of Jason Kidd. Having experienced setbacks like the 107-89 defeat in Game 1, the Mavericks understand the challenges of bouncing back from such situations. While they recognize the importance of avoiding early series deficits, they also realize that confidence alone will not bridge the gap after a convincing defeat like in Game 1. The team will now move on, making necessary adjustments ahead of Game 2, with some changes already implemented mid-game offering a glimmer of hope for improvement. During the game, a strategic shift to Maxi Kleber as the lone center provided Dallas with better defensive versatility and improved perimeter coverage. This adjustment allowed the Mavericks to match up more effectively against Boston's offensive schemes and created slightly better spacing on the court. Despite the Celtics' lead at the time of the adjustment, Dallas managed to narrow the point differential until the stars were subbed out, highlighting the potential impact of tactical changes. While Luka Doncic delivered a solid performance overall, the team's main weapons were effectively neutralized. Dallas must find ways to unlock the key strengths moving forward, especially in terms of offensive diversity and execution. How do you think the series will pan out? What adjustments can the Dallas Mavericks make? Or is this Boston team just too good? Let us know in the comments, and please subscribe. And thanks for watching Sports Pantheon.